This for joining us today. Like many members on this committee, the consequences of SEC rulemaking come up almost every day in my meeting with constituents, business leaders, and fellow Iowans. From Main Street to Wall Street, insurance firms in Des Moines, the cascading effects of rulemaking after rulemaking have negatively impacted their ability to not only do business, but serve their customers and their clients in my hometowns. Worse yet, it isn't just the SEC, it's the unelected bureaucrats from almost every agency that are causing a regulatory havoc on our hometown communities. In fact, I believe if this administration gets its way, Madam Chair, the SEC will finalize 63 new rules impacting IO companies in just 4 years. And it's just that one agency, one that the SEC has been blasted for its gross overregulation in this environment. As was noted today, it's now easier for a company to sue and go to court to get regulatory clarity from these agencies than it is to deal with the massive cost of trying to make a compliance that may or may not fall in line with an ever-changing regulatory and rule system, particularly coming from the SEC. And so whether it's Chairman Gensler's intention or not, the unintended consequences of his actions are very clear. Within the industry, making it impossible for small businesses, new businesses, innovative businesses, longtime Main Street businesses, just to keep their doors open. The bottom line, in my state, I can say clearly, Madam Chairwoman, Iowans are suffering. So I know colleagues on both sides of the aisle are not going to continue to stand by and allow the regulatory overreach to be what defines it. I'd like to talk both on the insurance and custody role. Mr. Gulliver, I'm concerned about the SEC's expanding authority and its often role in superseding our state and local officials who are really leaders in this area. One example of this is the SEC's attempt to overhaul the custody rule and possibly include a fee-based annuities within the scope of regulation. This would require unworkable within many of our state laws and take authority from state insurance regulators who have successfully overseen the insurance industry in my home state for over 150 years. As a member who represents an industry that's a critical component of our economy, in fact, 12%, I want to know if you can explain why this is a concerning trend that the chairman should continue to push the boundaries of his authority well beyond their limits and infringe on state abilities to do this.
I think the custody rule is another example of a proposal that really can't be finalized. It's just too extreme. It sweeps in assets that really can't be custodied in the way that the SEC would now require, and the existing process for registered investment advisors and the custody that they provide their clients isn't broken. So the SEC really hasn't established there's a problem either. So the custody rule is a major problem.
I would concur with you on that, Mr. Gulliver. I think you are right when you say it is not a rule that is broken. In fact, it's a rule that is well in hand for most of our state regulators. Ms. Scholl, I'd like to talk about AI and innovation, particularly in this area. I'm concerned about the SEC's use of a blunt one-size-fits-all approach to its rulemaking, particularly regarding new technologies coming on the market. In Chairman Gensler's world, real-world analytics and cost-benefit analysis cease to exist. Just bad actors, broad-sweeping rules that do not allow our economy to flourish. In fact, in his world, everyone is a violator. It's just a matter of finding the right regulation to hold them accountable. So with that, I guess I would be interested to hear that the federal judge sanctioned the SEC's, what they identify in this regulation as a gross abuse of power, but beyond that, ultimately paid a price to shut down companies that the SEC has pushed away, shut down other companies here in America, and pushed them overseas. Just yesterday, Chairman Gensler said that powerful AI systems in the financial system make up the potential for an economic disaster, particularly acute here in the United States. This level of fear-mongering is frightening. Can you explain why the SEC's approach to rulemaking is chilling innovation or may even hurt technologies for decades to come?
This approach to regulation is absolutely the wrong one. And this is, say, as a side note, an important reason why it's good to hear from the entire commission, not just from the chair, who gets the most airtime in order to take these types of fear-mongering statements about innovation. Statements on AI, statements on crypto, all of these are making business environments in the United States much more uncertain, if not downright hostile. Other countries, the European Union, many in the Middle East, many in the Far East, are creating regulatory systems for crypto that are much more friendly and workable, and at the very least are more certain.
Gentlemen, time has expired.
Thank you, Ms. Chu.